This may be the most important grain to glass video ever. How to make a Blue Moon clone. Ha!
Party time brews. This song ain't no good, but we got nothing to lose.
Okay, so for this one, we're starting pretty straightforward. We're gonna go with 2 kilograms of pale malt. Just got me some Viking pale malt. The recipe asks for 2.5 kilograms of white wheat malt. I have the regular wheat malt, so I'm gonna go with that. I'm not too picky. And just about a pound or 454 grams of rolled oats. Hopping, not too difficult. 34.5 grams of Hallertauer Mittelfrueh. And we want to get into some fancy spicy type stuff, which isn't really that fancy, but from the research I did on Reddit, I found basically you're looking at about 1 ounce of coriander seed to about 1/3 ounce of sweet orange peel. So yeah, you basically want a 1-to-3 ratio kind of on the coriander to sweet orange peel, or 3-to-1. Yeah, one of those ratios either way. And then from there, since we are using a huskless wheat, I'm gonna use some rice hulls. Basically, 1 jug here is about 200 grams, so I'm probably gonna go with 2 jugs of it eventually. So 400 grams. And we're just gonna use some water additions. Take a look at this water profile here, which will tell you what to do. It'll be different based on your own water profiles, so have a look at that. And if you don't care, it doesn't really matter. As long as you got the rest of the ingredients, you should be good to go. And finally, I don't have it weighed out here, but just basically, I don't know why I'm pointing, but there's gonna be 15 grams of US-05 there. It's about a 12 Play-Doh, which is about a 1.048 specific gravity. And if you're taking some fancy math there, you're basically looking at something like this. I guess the rule of thumb is 1 million cells per degrees Play-Doh per milliliter. So we take 12 Play-Doh, so we want 12 million cells per milliliter. We're doing about a 21 liter batch, so we're looking at about 21,000 times 12 million. So yeah, about 200 and, top of my head, math is here, but 272 million cells or something like that, or sorry, billion cells, which is about 15 grams, just a little bit over a pack or close to a pack and a half of US-05. Should get us there based on 200 billion-ish cells per pack. I may be off on that, but that's what we're gonna go with and see what it does. 1 pack would probably be fine. Let's brew it.
So I brewed it. Like to show some grinding, like to show some dumping of grains. Always show some stirring, that's important. But basically just record a little bit of what I did in the brew day. If you want to see a better brew day, take a look at this video up top. It kind of goes over the Grainfather brewing process for the all grain kind of stuff. You always have to show a little bit of footage of the basket pull and a little bit of the sparge to see how it's draining. This grain was actually quite edible. The oatmeal tasted delicious if you scraped it off the bottom. And I threw in the hops at 60 minutes.
Okay, so this is the point where we're gonna throw some coriander in. 10 minutes left, crack that thing. Basically, I got a coffee grinder. Basically gonna, basically just throw it in to the coffee grinder. The whole ounce. And then just turn it to powder. And I don't really care about it because this is my brewing grinder, but if you care about it, apparently you can use white bread or something. Chop that up after you've done that and it may not screw up your coffee grinder. Sweet orange peel. 1/3 of an ounce or about 9 or 9.5 grams.
The footage of me pitching the yeast and cooling the wort was so epic it could not be included in this video. I definitely didn't miss filming it.
Okay, so I've ran into a few problems, but let's give this a shot. Okay, so without further ado, here's the real Blue Moon. Okay, I'm a full liar. I believed in Canada it was called Belgian Moon, but they do have it back to Blue Moon. I think originally there may have been some sort of copyright infringement thing or trademarking thing, but they must have paid someone off and now it's Blue Moon again. Okay, so let's take a look at the Blue Moon. Here's how it looks. It's kind of hazy, kind of white, a little bit on the not darker side, but it's not the lightest I've seen. Has kind of a beery smell, nothing too crazy in there. And I'm gonna try it because it's a Blue Moon. Right off the bat, I'd say that's fairly plain, not as orangey as I like. I think the Blue Moon, when it's on tap, it usually possibly tastes a little better. possibly no one buys these, so it's just been sitting rotten in the liquor store for a long time, feel free to look up the number H12222 at 1946. I think there's a place online you can look up to find out what that kind of tag means and when it was made, but for now I don't really know. So yeah, it's beer. It's Blue Moon, not a bad beer. Easy thirst quencher. And let's see how mine turned out. So here's mine. It looks pretty much the same, and yeah, I'm full of crap. So I'm gonna have to level with you here. I don't have mine to sample. I kicked the keg without saving some for me. Hold on a second. For some reason just now, it might be slightly warm, but I believe I do have a bottle of it from my first batch of it. I ended up brewing, since the very first time I tried to brew this, I ended up brewing 4 batches of it. So my latest one was my 4th, and we kicked the keg pretty quick. Spoiler alert, it is a lot better than the regular Blue Moon, the recipe I have, and maybe it's because it's fresh, but the recipe I have, it has a really nice orange flavor to it, really easy drinker, and just a lot more flavorful than this. This feels like a dull version of the one I brewed, so I recommend brewing it because Blue Moon isn't a horrible beer. A lot of people say it might be a horrible beer, but it's a tasty beer and it definitely quenches the thirst. But right now I'm gonna go see if I can find one that I bottle conditioned. Okay, so I got a glass. This one I did bottle condition, and as you can see, she's pretty clear now. It has a nice yeast cake on the bottom there. I guess if it is the Belgian, might as well do the old Alley-Gas style and flip it upside down, get the haze back in there, get that yeasty taste in there. Although I wouldn't expect the Belgian Moon to be kind of Alley-Gas-y, but that definitely gets some haze back there. And hopefully this doesn't explode on me. Let's take a look. Has some carbonation. It smells decent. Let's see how she pours. This is my first batch from 4 batches ago, I believe. May not be exactly the same batch. I may taste it and find out it's not actually the Blue Moon clone, but take a look at that. The color, that's a little bit darker, but not too bad. Head's pretty good on it. Looks like it's potentially persisting a little bit more. I'm actually kind of, well, no, it didn't turn out exactly, but it definitely dropped clear. And I just put the yeast back in it, so let's give it a whiff. I think this is the Blue Moon. Can taste or smell the orange right off the bat and the coriander. Kind of mix them together. I couldn't pick out orange versus coriander, but yeah, the orange and coriander combined. Yeah, I like the smell of that. Let's go in for a taste. I probably should have chilled it up because I think it's going to be a good beer, and I may end up wasting. Nope, not going to waste it. Going to drink it all. These are my drinks for tonight. Yeah, that's definitely the Blue Moon. This is from the first batch of Blue Moon I made 2 or 3 months ago. It's been bottle conditioning for in the whatever temperature it is out here, 16 or 18 degrees for a couple months, maybe even more than 2, maybe 3 months. But yeah, it's tasty, and I'm gonna try to compare them. This is getting way too long, but whatever. There's nothing better to do right now. A little bit orangier, a little bit fresher. Fairly similar, not the exact same. This feels a little bit duller, but it does have maybe a more prominent orange taste in it. I'm gonna go again. Do like it. I've done the exact same recipe 4 times. Correction, I haven't done the exact same recipe 4 times. This one here actually has, I think this is the only one I actually bought the white wheat malt for. The rest is just the regular wheat malt or yellow wheat, I don't know what it is, orange wheat malt. The stuff is not white wheat, it's a wheat. But yeah, lots of flavor in this. It's also a lot warmer, so maybe that's why I'm getting the flavor. But cold, crisp, not as much flavor. And again, it could be because this may have been sitting around for a long time. But you know what? That's enough of the review. I highly recommend the Blue Moon clone. It's just a nice, they call them Belgian whites. I don't know if they're exactly like Belgian whites. So they don't really have much of a yeasty or phenolic flavor to them, but they're delicious beers, especially for summer. And we've kicked a couple kegs this winter, so definitely recommend giving it a shot. So yeah, thanks a lot. Oh yeah, and thanks for watching the video. If you like what you saw, give it a subscribe. Feel free to check out my website and buy some merch, and I guess check out other Nova Scotia breweries. Good Robot's a good one. And yeah, check out the site, check out other BrewTubers, check out these videos here. They're probably pretty good. Either way, thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Going to have a couple short videos coming out soon with just some random tips you might want to try. Hopefully.